Shalom, shalom, Kahalo, Yahbashim Nabashai, Bashim Kakadash, double honestly, apostles and elders of great millstone. Salutation to the Akim pushing his word in truth and sincerity. It's a quick impromptu video. This is November the 16th, just 2 days ago. It says Russia anti-satellite missile test endangers space station crew, says NASA. Right, it's a quick video here. Let's see if this video, let's see if we can get some volume on this shit.
Satellite on Monday, causing over 1,000 pieces of debris. The US State Department spokesperson Ned Price sounded the alarm, calling the test reckless and a risk to the International Space Station where astronauts and cosmonauts are on board.
Russia's dangerous and irresponsible behavior jeopardizes the long-term sustainability of our outer space and clearly demonstrates that Russia's claims of opposing the weaponization of space are disingenuous and hypocritical.
The Russian military and Ministry of Defense were not immediately available for comment. A message posted on Twitter by the Russian Space Agency said the station was in the green zone and played down the risk. The 7-member space station crew, 4 US astronauts, a German astronaut and 2 Russian cosmonauts were directed to take shelter in their docked spaceship capsules for 2 hours after the test. That's according to NASA. Anti-satellite tests in space aren't a new thing. The US performed the first anti-satellite tests in 1959, when satellites were rare and new. Last April, Russia carried out another test of an anti-satellite missile. But these recent tests have raised questions about the long-term sustainability of space operations, essential to commercial activities, banking, and GPS services. Officials have said that space will increasingly become an important domain for warfare.
Right, there you have it. Russia just
Russia launched an anti-satellite weapons test against its own satellite.
Let's try and get rid of this shit. Right, it says here, Washington, November the 15th. It says here, an anti-satellite missile test Russia conducted on Monday generated debris field in low Earth orbit that engaged the International Space Station and will pose a hazard to space activities for years, US officials said. And what are they talking about? What about their space debris? Yeah? Their boosters and all that was floating around the Earth. They're hypocrites. What it is, Russia's just showing them that they can blow their satellites because satellites out of the space and turn America and all their allies into darkness. Because why? America's on the border of Ukraine, yeah, stirring shit up with NATO, and Russia's just sending a message to them, yeah. So there's 7 members of the space station going, and Russia only put one on the news and said is bullshit. They blew it out. The satellite they blew out out of space was miles away from the space station. It's just more propaganda by Esau, the red man, the American Edomite. Yeah, it says here. The 7-member space station crew, 4 US astronauts, a German astronaut, and 2 Russian cosmonauts. See? So why would they jeopardize their own cosmonauts? They wouldn't. It's a load of bollocks. Were directed to take shelter in their docked spaceship capsules for 2 hours after the test as a precaution to allow a quick getaway had it been necessary, NASA said. And it goes on to say the research lab orbiting about 250 miles above Earth continued to pass through the near debris cluster every 90 minutes. But NASA specialists determined it was safe for the crew to return to yes, because they knew it was bollocks they was talking. They just shook that Russia can shoot a satellite out of space. So that means their satellites is vulnerable to their new space missile, yeah? Station interior. After the 3rd pass, the agency said, the crew was also ordered to seal off hatches of several modules of the International Space Station, ISS, for the time being, according to NASA. Yeah, and it goes on to say NASA will continue monitoring the debris in the coming days and beyond to ensure safety of the crew in orbit. NASA Chief Bill Nielsen said in the statement. Experts say testing of weapons that shatter satellites in orbit pose a space hazard by creating clouds of fragments that can collide with other objects, setting off a chain reaction of projectiles through space orbit. No, it's because you know that they could shoot your shit at the sky. Yeah, you're fucking with them, so they said to him, you know what? Let's just shoot one of our old satellites to show these niggas, these white niggas, these red niggas, sorry, that we can shoot shit at, shoot satellites out of the firmament, yeah, in the dark, in the blackness, yeah. Russia's military and Ministry of Defense were not immediately available for comment. The message posted on Twitter by Russian space agency Roscosmos downplayed the danger. The orbit of the object, which forced the crew to move into spacecraft according to standard procedures, has moved away from ISIS orbit. Roscosmos tweeted, "The station is in the green." It says here the direct ascent anti-satellite missile fired by Russia into one of its own satellites. You hear that? Generated more than 15,000 pieces of trackable orbital debris and would unlikely spawn hundreds of thousands of smaller fragments, the U.S. Space Command said in a statement. And they're talking about Russia has demonstrated a deliberate disregard for security, safety, stability, and long-term sustainability of space dominion for all nations. Space Command Chief U.S. Army General James Dickinson said. What it is that they're shook, like I said, that Russia can blast their satellites. Because what is everything run on now? This Esau's whole society, yeah, his whole rulership is run off of satellites. What we're using when we what's that thing we use when we go around when we go on a journey, we use the navigator that runs off a satellite. The phones run off a satellite. The internet runs off a satellite. Their war machine runs off of satellites for their position strikes. So Russia's just telling them, look, boys, if you keep messing with us, we're just gonna blast your satellites out of the firmament, and then you what can you do then? You won't be able to fight back because your missiles and your war machine is run off of the satellites. So this is just a quick hit to show you that Russia is not ramping. This is a message to all America and their allies. Don't keep poking the bear. All right, I'm going to say, Kwa hello, Yabashim Yawashai, Bashim Kakadash, but honestly, apostles and elders, a great millstone. Salutation to the Akim pushing this word in truth and sincerity. I'm going to say, Kwam Yasharala and Wa Ababa Bo, distraction to Babylon. Shalom.